Everyone, we are here in the Indian Peaks Wilderness area by Brainard Lake above Ward, Colorado. It is currently 5:42-ish in the morning. We got up at about, well, I got up around 3:30 to get ready, to get up here. And I am with
Sam. My Instagram is Heat Loss.
the awesome Sam. We are photographing sunrise on the wondrous Indian Peaks above Brainard Lake. So we'll see you guys on the trail. I'll do some updates as we go in, and see you soon. We're around 10,100 feet, somewhere around there, and shaping up to be a pretty good day. We've got a nice little sunrise back there coming up, so we got another 2 miles to go until we reach the actual lake, so hopefully we get there in time. The Indian Peaks are a pretty cool little area. They're one of my favorite locations in Colorado. I like it more than Rocky Mountain National Park, so I'll show you some views once we get there. There is the Indian Peaks there. And if I flip it around, check this out. That is Denver, Boulder, Longmont, and the entire Front Range down there. Got a DJI Osmo Pocket, which if you don't know what that is, Google. It's a pretty cool little piece of equipment. And I'm going to start doing what I call Blue Marble journals, or Patrick Wine images journals. I'm not sure which one yet.
One of the
but yeah. But we're going to start recording these when I don't have a film crew on location with me, when it's just me. But we're going to start filming these, and I'm going to talk about techniques that I'm using to photograph, the experiences I'm having while doing these, the people I'm with, and the wildlife and the landscapes and the cultures that I'm photographing. So we are here just outside of the Indian Peaks in Brainard Lake. As you can see up there, we've got a nice view. We've started to get a little bit of color in the clouds above the peak. So right now I'm going to use my Nikon D810. This is my trusty camera that I use 100% of the time, unless I'm shooting with my Ursa Mini for a film. And just a standard 50mm lens. I want to get a little bit of depth, so we're going to push the focal length a little deeper so we get some sense of distance in the shot instead of shooting with a 35, which I tried a little bit earlier but I didn't really like. So if you follow me, I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to get really low to the ground with it. So one of the things that this will do is get some foreground, because if we take it at eye level, the composition will just be kind of, it'll be like you took it with your phone, just because you're getting no foreground matter, so you don't get a sense of depth that you would if you had the ground in it. So we're going to take a shot from the ground, just like this. So I'm just going to use manual focus. Right there, that's about right. And I'm going to zoom back out, and I'm going to check my composition, get as low to the ground as I can, get a little bit of that sky, and I'm going to line the peaks up on the third for the first shot, I think. And I'm going to shoot around, I think, f5. I'm going to ISO 640, and I'll push the shutter speed to 320. We'll see how that comes out. I like to expose a little darker so I can pull the shadows up, because you lose the highlights, and it's a lot harder to get the highlights out of there. So here we go. Let's go ahead and see. So about right. My highlights are pretty good. The trees are a little dark, so I'm going to take another exposure just to see what I can do with those. So I'm going to drop it down to f3.5, 250, and ISO, let's say 800. Usually don't like going that high, but it's pretty dark, so let's see what happens. Here we go. So, we are in the middle of post-hole heaven. We're coming up on a little part, yeah, post-hole country. This great little area where you get a really beautiful view of the Indian Peaks from the road into Brainard Lake. I've actually switched from my 50mm to my 100mm like I was talking about, and I'm finding it much better for what I'm wanting to do with it. And what are you shooting with, Sam?
I'm shooting with a D750 and a AFD 28 to 105.
How do you like it? What are you shooting, like what aperture and what?
Oh god, I'm mostly shooting wide open right now. It only goes from 3.5 to 4.5, so that's the widest it goes, so I gotta shoot pretty wide.
Look at that.
Yes.
What are you photographing?
Just this coming on the ground.
This little tree?
Yeah.
Can't walk anymore. This isn't a very bad one. So that's the road. It's probably a good 2 feet underneath where we are right now. And I think it's safe to say that there's a good reason the road is closed because of winter weather. One of the things I really like about alpenglow this time of day is the light that's cast on the trees. I don't know how well this thing captures the light, but it's this gorgeous greenish orange glow. There it is, I can see it on the camera now. And it's just absolutely beautiful. It really adds a lot of color contrast to the blue sky in your compositions. And it's just a really pretty thing to have in your photos. Just makes it really nice. It is 7 something in the morning, 6 something, 7 something in the morning. Got up at 3. I got up at 3:30 to get here, and this is what it's all about. Check this out. I was using this snowbank, as you can see there's a line that runs right through here. All those lines in those snowbanks I was using to align with the peaks up there. And as we walk further in, it'll make sense, but we're almost to Brainard. So I will do a new video once we get up there. Oh, look at those shadows on the peaks over there.
Okay, I'm glad I brought this. Ooh, look at that. I can get most of the...
That's gorgeous.
Most of this in frame.
There is a ton of snow up here. That's probably a good, 8 feet of snow, probably, that's up here. We are officially in moose country, as you can see by this sign. This is where I photograph moose most often, is up here in this area. And usually they're over here. There's a bunch of willows over there. The lake's off over that direction. But usually I photograph them over there. But unfortunately, there aren't any up here. And usually they aren't this high. So yeah, we're going to head up to Long Lake and see what we can get. It's a beautiful day so far. One of the things that I am finding up here this season, I've never actually been up here in winter before, up in the Indian Peaks, is that snowshoes are a wonderful thing. There's a reason they exist. Don't neglect them. So next time you go on a trip, get some snowshoes, because it's no fun without them. Welcome to Lake Long Lake. It's a long lake.
Lake Long.
Very pretty, very windy, very cold. So while we're here to photograph landscapes, one of the things that I want to photograph is the way the snow plays with the landscape itself, with a more closer view on how it creates shadows and plays with light, and how the snow can reflect different sorts of patterns into the snow. So one of the things that I'm doing is using this 100mm to photograph this snowbank right here. This little, I guess, mini cornice type thing sitting on top of this little snowdrift. So if you look at the top of it, you can see that there's a little wiggly line. And that wiggly line is casting a really nice shadow because the sun is right at the 12 o'clock or at the 6 o'clock of the camera. So it's coming down, hitting at that corner right there, and casting this nice line right down. And what that allows us to do is use this lens and focus on those shadows and on those curves and create an almost sort of ethereal feel. Shows how nature can be an artist in itself without needing a human to do so. So we're getting some photographs here. One of the things that I did was just line up right here, angle it with the camera, angle the lens with the curves. Since I'm using 100mm, I'm actually going to scoot back just a smidge and get down low. Play with those curves. The way I'm lining it up is the top thirds line. We have the top of the snow, the part in the sun, making the top third line the squiggles, and then the bottom of the third line, the bottom third, so on the grid, if you have a grid like this line, is the shadow. So we're playing with light and shadow. It's pretty interesting. But right now I've kind of gotten a bunch of photos of that, so Sam and I are going to head back down and take some photos of the landscape. Well, we are on our way down after a successful trip to Long Lake and Brainard Lake in the post hole. I think we got some good stuff. It was pretty cold, so unfortunately that wasn't the best. And post holing is still the bane of my existence. But yeah, now we're heading down, going to Brainard Lake and then Boulder. Pretty done for the day. Cold, wet, tired, and we've been up here for 7 hours-ish, somewhere around there. So, how was your experience?
My face is cold.
So,
Besides that fun.
So is mine. So we are heading down, and we'll see how the images turn out.